Live on YouTube, live on Rumble. Good afternoon. Hello, welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. That's the wrong thing. I am, of course, Aoxander. You are you. We will be joined by the Golden Moon here shortly. Man, what a day it has been. Anyway, today is Tears' Day, aka Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. This show is about interesting and important events that happened today throughout the annals of recorded history. We have a 34-page document to go through today, so let's start us off. The year 113, Roman Emperor Trajan dedicated a column celebrating and depicting his victory over the Davians. So I have a image search request for this. I was looking for this at the for the thumbnail and everything, and there's a lot of cool images. So this is a zoom in on this Trajan's column, and this is another image showing how tall it is and everything. It looks like it's still there wherever that is. So that looks really cool. What else do we got here? 254. Stephen I succeeded Lucius I as Catholic Pope. Okay, that sounds like a whatever article, but other source says Pope Stephen I succeeded Pope Lucius I, becoming the 23rd Pope of the Catholic Church, and immediately took a stand against Novatianism. What is Novatianism, you may ask? Well, I mean, I'm asking the same thing. I don't know what that is. So let's look this up here. It was an early Christian sect devoted to the theologian Novatian that held a strict view that refused readmission to communion of lapsy. The Church of Rome declared the Novatianists heretical following the letters of Saint Cyprian of Carthage, and Ambrose wrote against them. Alright, so if anybody wants to know more about Novatianism, I'm going to start working on an underbar section here. These links will be down there, in the description after the live stream, as per usual. Moving on up to 907, Zhu Wen forced Emperor Ai into abdicating, ending the Tang dynasty after nearly 300 years of rule. 1057, the Yesteryear Gospel, now the oldest surviving Russian manuscript, is completed by its scribe Deacon Grigory. And that's what we have right here. This is an image of it. Among other images, let's take a look at this really quick to see if there's any other cool images of this text here. Just various other zooms in of pages and images that they have there. Cool looking stuff. What else do we got here? 1215. English barons served an ultimatum on King John, which eventually led to the creation and signing of the Magna Carta. That is huge. Let's just take a look at what is the Magna Carta. So Magna Carta. There we go. Created in 1215, so that's the same year that we just spoke about this. It is a royal charter of rights sealed by King John of England at Runnymede near Windsor on June 15th, 1215. So we're coming up on that. First drafted by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Cardinal Stephen Langdon, to make peace between the unpopular king and a group of rebel barons who demanded that the king confirm the Charter of Liberties. It promised the protection of church rights, protection for the barons from illegal imprisonment, and access to swift and imperial justice, as well as limitations on feudal payments to the crown, to be implemented through a council of 25 barons. Neither side stood by their commitments, and the charter was annulled by Pope Innocent II, leading to the First Barons' War. So, if anybody wants to know more, Magna Carta. Massive political document and everything. 1294, construction of Santa Croce began in Florence, the largest Franciscan church in the world, later to be consecrated in 1442. So like some odd 150 something years later. That's one image of it right there. Let's do another image search really quick, just to see what this. Actually, no, that was not that same building. It wasn't? Yes, it was. Yeah, there it is, right there. So that's the same image that I just had up. But there's no really other good images of it other than just these ones, and this all, there's only so many angles that you can get. But this is a church. Why is there a Star of David on it right here? I mean, I know Christianity comes out of Judaism, but the Christianity follows a cross, not the Star of David, to my knowledge. 1364, Jagiellonian University, the oldest university in Poland, was founded in Krakow. All right. And if anybody, Jagiellonian. Okay, university. I can actually read things. 1459, Jodhpur, Sun City, founded by Rao Jodhpur in India. 1497, Pope Alexander VI excommunicated Girolamo Savonarola. I wonder why. Moving on up to 1510, the Prince of Anhura rebellion began when Zhu Zifen killed all the officials invited to a banquet and declared his intent on ousting the powerful Ming Dynasty eunuch Liu Jin during the reign of the Zengid Emperor. Yikes. 1551, San Marcos University in Lima, Peru opened. It is the oldest continuously operating university in the Americas. Excellent. So like in North and South America. 1588, Catholic League under Duke Henry de Guise occupied Paris. From the other source, during the French Wars of Religion, Henry III of France fled Paris after Henry I, Duke of Guise, entered the city and a spontaneous uprising occurred. Well, that's not good. Having somebody enter your city and all of a sudden, spontaneous uprising. So, 1593, London playwright Thomas Kidd was arrested and tortured by the Privy Council for libel. Eee. And what is libel, you may ask? Let's see, libel. I know what libel is, but I'm just going to look at it. It is a published false statement that is damaging to a person's reputation. A written defamation. Compare with slander. The action or crime of publishing a libel. False and typically malicious statement about a person. So, basically talking shit without substance, essentially. 1638, Emperor Shah Jahan commissioned construction of the Red Fort at Shahjahanabad, Mughal Empire, which is now Delhi, India. And that's what this image is right here. The Red Fort. Very lives up to its namesake with that. So let's take a look at this from other angles. This is an interior shot. That's pretty cool, actually. So it's not all red. On the inside, it has different colors, but look at that. This looks like something out of, like a fantasy novel or something. Like the desert dwelling of Karak or whatever. Oh, here we go. What is this? The Red Fort is a historic fort in the city of Delhi in India that served as the main residence of the Mughal emperors. Emperor Shah Jahan commissioned construction for the Red Fort on May 12, 1638, when he decided to shift its capital from Agra to Delhi. Every year on India's Independence Day, which is August 15th, the Prime Minister of India hoists the national flag at the Red Fort and delivers a nationally broadcasted speech from its ramparts. The Red Fort, the largest monument in Delhi, is one of the most popular tourist destinations and attracts thousands of visitors every year. Only thousands? That doesn't seem like enough for what it deserves. It needs more visitors. So all you out there watching, go visit this Red Fort out in Delhi. Looking out for any comments? Nope, none yet. Moving on up, 1640, revolt of Catalonia began, an uprising against the Spanish King Philip IV in eastern Spain. 1689, England and the Netherlands formed the League of Augsburg. What is that league? So let's look up this League of Augsburg really quick. Let's see here. Grand Alliance, the League of Augsburg. It was signed on December 20th, 1689. So that's coming up here. Well, that's weird. England and Netherlands formed it, but I guess the actual document wasn't signed in this. But let's see here. King of England, Scotland, and Leopold I, Holy Roman Emperor. A coalition between the Dutch Republic, England, and the Habsburg monarchy. Its primary purpose was to oppose the expansionist policies of Louis XIV of France. So if anyone wants to know more about this League of Augsburg, post that link there. 1701, Dutch province Drenthe adopted the Gregorian calendar, making the day before in Drenthe April 29th, 1701. So they went from April 29th to May 12th. That's a heck of a jump there. And didn't we cover that back on April 29th? That it jumped. That the next day was going to be May 12th or something? Or, yeah. 1733, Maria Theresa was crowned King of Bohemia in Prague. Now we have a discrepancy here, because from the other source, actually, I'm going to load it up on my secondary source here really quick, just to see if I got it wrong or right, because other source says 1743, so that's 10 years later on the same exact date. Maria Theresa of Austria was crowned Queen of Bohemia after defeating her rival, Charles VII, Holy Roman Emperor. So this was what, 1740 something? So 17. Yeah, it says 1743. So you can see here, it says 1733, Marisa Theresa, but you can see here, it's, if it's going to pick it up, it's above this picture. I'm trying to, it's going to be hard for you to see, but it says 1743. So we have a 10-year discrepancy over this article. 1776, French First Minister of State and Controller General of Finances Anne Robert Jacques Turgot resigned after being ordered to do so. Okay, so 1777, we have the first ice cream advertisement was for Philip Lindsay in the New York Gazette. So there you go, pure good ice cream. I had ice cream last night. Ice cream is delicious. People should have more ice cream. They'll be happy. No, Peerless Ice Cream Freezers. Well, that's for freezers and everything. So this has to be right here, the first ice cream advertisement. So yeah, there you go. Who wants ice cream? We all want ice cream, unless you're lactose intolerant. 1780, U.S. General, American General, Benjamin Lincoln surrendered Charleston to the British during the Revolutionary War. In the largest defeat of the Continental Army, Charleston, South Carolina was taken by British forces. 1784, ratified copies of the Treaty of Paris, ending the Revolutionary War exchange between U.S. and Great Britain in Paris. 1789, Society of St. Tammany was formed by the Revolutionary War soldiers. It later became an infamous group of New York City political bosses. 1789, William Wilberforce made his first major speech on abolition in the UK House of Commons, reasoning the slave trade morally reprehensible and an issue of natural justice. I absolutely agree. 1797, First Coalition, during the War of the First Coalition, Napoleon Bonaparte conquered Venice. Yeah, moving on up into 1821, the first major battle of the Greek War of Independence against the Turks occurred in Valesti. 1835, Charles Darwin visited Alexander Caligula's copper mines at Paniculo in northern Chile and was impressed by the extraordinary feats of labor performed by the workers. I wonder if he, wrote about them. Well, I mean, it must have. How else is this documented? 1846, just 11 years later, the Donner Party of Pioneers departed Independence, Missouri for California on what will become the year-long journey of hardship and cannibalism. So this is a map, going from Independence, going up to Fort Laramie, Brigadier's Fort, and eventually Johnson's Ranch, and then Sutter's Fort over by Sutter's Mill, I believe, is in that general area. So, what else do we got here? 1863, Battle of Raymond, Mississippi. That sounds like a nothing article. But from the other source, we have, during the American Civil War, the Battle of Raymond, 2 divisions of James B. McPherson's 17th Corps turned the left wing of Confederate General John C. Pemberton's defensive line on 14 Mile Creek, opening up the interior of Mississippi to the Union Army during the Vicksburg Campaign. That's a lot more substantial information right there than just Battle of Raymond, Mississippi. 1864, we have the Battle of Spotsylvania, fought near Courthouse, Virginia, the Overland Campaign. It was an inconclusive result during the U.S. Civil War. So, other source says here, the Battle of Spotsylvania Courthouse, Union troops assaulted a Confederate assailant known as the Mule Show, with some of the fiercest fighting of the war, much of it hand-to-hand combat, occurring at the Bloody Angle on the northwest. So that has to be, yeah. Actually, no, I was reading something else. So that's, yeah, that was the year before it won. 1865, last land action of the Civil War occurred at Palmetto Ranch in Texas. It was the first day of the last major land action to take place during this conflict. It ultimately resulted in Confederate victory. 1870, Royal Assent passed Manitoba Act of 1870, approving Manitoba to become a province of Canada. So, and that would occur over on July 15th, so we'll probably talk about that later. 1871, segregated streetcars integrated in Louisville, Kentucky. That's not good. 1881, 1871, not 1781. Wow, I read that as dyslexic right there. 1871. Moving on up to 1881, Treaty of Bardo, Tunisia became a French protectorate, so in North Africa. 1885, Battle of Batoche, Louis Riel and the Métis, defeated by Frederick Middleton, led to collapse of provisional government of Saskatchewan and the surrender of Riel. So other source says Northwest Rebellion, the 4-day Battle of Batoche, pitting rebel Métis against the Canadian government, came to an end with a decisive rebel defeat. 1888, crouching first used in track and field by Charles Sherrill of Yale. So, like, when they get into positions, crouching and everything, this is when that first started. 2 years later, 1890, Louisiana legalized prize fighting. And then 365 days after that, we have a riot against tax increase in Paramaribo, Suriname. Well, nobody likes paying taxes, so, it only makes sense that they'd riot over that. What else do we got here? 1897, the 1800 to 1900-year-old fossil of Girl of Yiddy, found in Drenthe, Netherlands. All right. So, 1898 as well, Louisiana adopted a new constitution with grandfather clause designed to eliminate black voters. That's terrible. So, 1902, 140,000 miners of anthracite coal in Pennsylvania went out on a strike called by the United Mine Workers after the owners have realized or have refused to recognize the UMW, the United Mine Workers, negotiate or submit to arbitration. So, yeah, this is the start of that union, it sounds like. 1908, wireless radio broadcasting was patented by Nathan B. Stubblefield. Excellent. 2 years later, 1910, the second NAACP conference in New York City, took place. And what is the NAACP? The National American, or the National African, no, the National Administration for American Colored Persons, or something like that. Which, don't they not like to be called colored persons? Don't they just like to be called people? Because they are. We all are. So, I don't know why, they still, use that word. And it's the same thing about, the whole alcohol mafia thing. The Q in LGBTQT means queer, and that used to be a derogatory term towards homosexuals because queer means, weird. So they're calling them weird, but today they're using it anyway. So I don't know. I don't know what people want to be called anymore. So I don't know. 1911, the first Inter-Empire Championships opened in London. And what is the Inter-Empire Championships? Let me look that up really quick. Probably just for something in the British Empire. Festival of Empire. So okay. I think this is something else. It says open in London, but Festival Empire, Inter-Empire Championships. What is this right here? This is it. This is what I want. Well, this is just telling me the stats. Well, if anyone can look this up, tell us what this Inter-Empire Championships is, if it is this Festival of Empire. Let us know in the comment section. Moving on up, 1911 as well, the American economic, or I guess U.S. economic expert W. Morgan Schuster arrived by invitation to assume almost dictatorial power over Persia's finances, a move resented by Russia. Okay. 4 years later, 1915, Croatians plundered Armenia, killing 250 people. Yikes. We also have Franklin K. Matthews first presented the idea of Book Week. Excellent. 1916, James Connolly and Sean McDermott were executed following their involvement in the Easter Rising in Dublin. We've been talking about that for the past week and change, maybe even 2 weeks. We've been talking about the Easter Rising for quite a while, actually. 1919, New York Yankees and Washington Senators played second straight extra inning tie, 4-4 in 15 innings at the Polo Grounds, 0-0 in 12 the previous day. Wow. 1919 as well, the Transvaal British Indian Association called for a mass meeting to organize opposition to the proposed Asiatics Land and Trading Amendment Act. In this act, Transvaal Indians were prohibited from owning shares in limited companies. That doesn't sound good at all. 1921, National Hospital Day was first observed in the United States, so happy National Hospital Day, everyone out there. Hospitals are good things, for the most part. 25, Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan became autonomous Soviet republics. 1 century ago, we have quite a bit of Okas actually today. So starting us off here, 1926, airship Norge was the first vessel to fly over the North Pole, led by Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen, and piloted by the craft's Italian designer Umberto Nobile. And I wonder if that's the same one that we covered yesterday. 1926 as well, British general strike ended after 9 days. Coal miners stayed on strike. So the coal mine workers. So, yep. 26 as well, Dmitri Shostakovich's First Symphony premiered in Leningrad. We also have General Joseph Blitzkrieg returned to power in Poland after a coup d'etat against the Witos regime. We also have Hans Luther resign for the second time as German Chancellor after no confidence vote against his minority government. Other source, says the same thing. Moving on up, finally, to 1928, Benito Mussolini announced moves to end women's suffrage in a speech to the Senate in Italy. Yikes. Second opium law introduced, international law to control drugs. It's never good when the government starts coming in to try to control things. The war on drugs, the war on poverty, the war on this, the war on that. Every single war, on like a substance or a thought or an idea that governments have gone after, they end up losing. Kind of strange. 1932, the body of kidnapped son of Charles Lindbergh was found in Hopewell, New Jersey. Other source says here 10 weeks after his abduction, Charles Jr., the infant son of Charles Lindbergh, was found dead near Hopewell, New Jersey, just a few miles from the Lindbergh's home. And, take with this as you will, but Charles Lindbergh was a Nazi supporter. He actually advocated for us to be more friendly towards Nazi Germany and to actually fight, join the war on their side. I believe he said that. And about a week or so before his son went missing, he played a prank on his wife, a prank, by climbing a ladder up to his son's second-floor bedroom window and putting him somewhere, abducting his infant son out of the crib, hiding him somewhere, and then freaking out his wife. Oh, somebody took our kid, Well, a week later, the night where the kid actually went missing, people believe that he was trying to do the same prank, but he somehow fumbled and he dropped his kid, either killing him on the spot or causing incredible, horrible injuries. And he used his money, influence, and fame to just point it at some random guy, who ended up going to prison over it and all that stuff, and he just hid the body not too far from the house for it to be discovered 10 weeks later. That's my theory. You will never get every answer in life. Sometimes you have to put the puzzle pieces together. But I am a firm believer that Charles Lindbergh killed his own son because he was a Nazi supporter. Those people are terrible. 33, the Federal Emergency Relief Administration and Agricultural Adjustment Administration formed to help the needy and farmers. Great, that's just what we need, more government crap. So it says here, other source, it says, I have two articles from other source. I'm not sure where this from here, so I'll just read these in order. President Roosevelt signed legislation creating the Federal Emergency Relief Administration, the predecessor of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And it also says the Agricultural Adjustment Act, which restricts agricultural production through government purchase of livestock for slaughter and paying subsidies to farmers when they remove land from planting, was signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Moving on up to 1937, coronation of King George VI of Great Britain and his other realms and territories beyond the sea at Westminster Abbey. Other source also says the Duke and Duchess of York were crowned as King George VI and Queen Elizabeth of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland at Westminster Abbey. So I only brought that up because they were the king and queen, at least the queen was during my lifetime, and now England has a king again. So 37, St. Louis Cardinals defeated the Philadelphia Phillies 15-3. That's 5-1 right there. 1938, Sandoz Labs began manufacturing LSD, scientifically known as lysergic acid diethylamide. So, 1940, Nazi Blitzkrieg and conquest of France began with German forces crossing the Meuse River. Yikes. 1941, Conrad Zuse presented the Z3, the world's first working programmable, fully automatic computer in Berlin. So I think that's the guy right there, and that's a portion of that computer that we just spoke about right there. 1942, 1,500 Jews were gashed at Auschwitz. Horrible. 42 as well, Nazi U-boat sank U.S. cargo ship at the mouth of Mississippi River. So during World War II, the U.S. tanker SS Virginia was torpedoed in the mouth of the Mississippi River by the German submarine U-507. We also have Russia occupied Krakow until August 23rd in 1943. Other source says here during the Second World War, Second Battle of Krakow in eastern Ukraine, Red Army forces under Marshal Semyon Timoshenko launched a major offensive from the Izium bridgehead, only to be encircled and destroyed by the troops of Army Group South 2 weeks later. 365 days after that, Axis forces in North Africa surrendered. So German forces in Tunisia and North Africa, surrender. From this source as well. So we have two articles. They could be merged into one here. Pardon me. 1944, over 900 8th U.S. Air Force bombers attacked Zwickau, Bothian, and Brooks. That's a lot of attacks there. We also have Crimea was purged of Nazi troops. Excellent. Loons time! 1948, Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands abdicated due to ill health. So it says here from the other source, which was for some reason removed from secondary source, Wilhelmina, Queen Regent of the Kingdom of Netherlands, ceded the throne to her daughter Juliana. 1949, we have the first foreign woman ambassador received in the U.S., Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit from India. 49 as well, the USSR, the Soviet Union, lifted its blockade of West Berlin after the U.S., the U.K., and their allies successfully supplied the city during the Berlin airlift. So, yeah, the Ruskies figured, we're not going to stop those crafty, U.S. citizens from doing what they want to do. So just, let the Stadians do what the Stadians want to do. Simple as that. What else do we got here? 1949, we got that one. 1952, Charlton Playground was named in the Bronx. Just thought that was intriguing right there. 52 as well, Gaj Singha was crowned Maharaja of Jodhpur at the age of 4 after the death of his father Hanwant Singh in a plane crash. It's terrible. 3 years later, Chicago Cub Sam Toothpick Jones was the first black Stadium to pitch a no-hitter, winning 4-0 over Pittsburgh Pirates at Wrigley Field in Chicago. 1955, we got that one. 1958, Nini Na 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 Nu Nu Nu. Was it this one? No, this one. No, not that one. Not that one. But there it is. Okay. By Dickie Doo and the Dones, hit number 40, and this is a song right here.
Nini Na 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 Nu Nu.
And if you want to hear more about this, or more of that, I'm going to put this in here, actually. So, Nini Na 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 Nu Nu, or something like that. Whatever. Hold on a second. Let me, there we go. That'll be in the underbar section after the live stream, as per usual. I'm going to move this over here, so you'll listen to it later. 1958 as well, the U.S. and Canada formed a North American Air Defense Command, NORAD. That's big. 60, Elvis Presley, here we go, appeared on a Frank Sinatra television special. Elvis sung Sinatra's 1957 Cy Coleman hit Witchcraft, and Frank performed Presley's 1956 classic Love Me Tender. Alright. 1961, Russian Mikhail Bolshevik won World Chess Championship for the 3rd time. And that reminded me of no, not that one. Here we go. This is hilarious. I'm just going to play this real quick.
Ты готов сыграть?
Are you ready to play? Yeah.
Миш,
Wait.
у меня для тебя
Misha,
одно
I have to
важное
admit you,
признание. В отличие
in
от тебя,
contrast to you, I
трехлетнего,
cannot
я,
play chess.
40-летний лоб, играть в шахматы не умею. Поэтому мы
That's why we
тебе
found
нашли
strong rival
достойного
for you.
противника. Я приглашаю в эту
I
студию
invite
12-го
12th
чемпиона
world
мира по
champion.
шахматам.
Look at his face.
Международного
International
гроссмейстера,
Grandmaster,
заслуженного мастера
merited
спорта
master of sport of USSR, Anatoly Karpov. Oh, he's so scared. Poor kid. Didn't even know what was coming. Like, well, why do I hear boss music? Why is there a health bar? What's going on? 1962, Grevelingen Dam closed in major project to protect the southwest of the Netherlands from flooding. 63, Bob Dylan walked out of the Ed Sullivan Show over a dispute about his song choice. All right. 63 as well, we have a race ride in Birmingham, Alabama. You know, I wonder, like, any damage, any deaths, injuries, you know, what's going on? I'd like to know a little bit more. It's disgusting that this happened, but, you know, as somebody who enjoys studying the past, I'd like to know a little bit more about this event. Pardon me, 1965, Israel and West Germany established diplomatic relations with an exchange of letters. All right. 65 as well, the Rolling Stones recorded their smash hit single, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. This song here, fucking... It's a good song here, so let's add this in the underbar. I can't get no satisfaction, which that's a double negative, which means you can get satisfaction, or you're overly satisfied because you are unable to get non-satisfaction. You can't get no satisfaction. So yeah. What else do we got here? In 1967, the first quadrophonic concert by Pink Floyd at the Games for May concert in London. All right, that's pretty cool. 67, Columbia Pictures released Good Times, a musical comedy western starring Sonny and Cher and George Sanders, becoming Cher's first starring role. It was also the feature debut of director William Friedkin. Cool. 1967 as well, Track Records released Are You Experienced album by the Jimi Hendrix Experience, one of the most influential debut albums ever. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix, man. You know, a legend. 68, March of the Poor under Reverend Ralph Abernathy reached Washington, D.C. I'm going to do a surface level scratch of this article really quick. What is this March of the Poor? Poor People's Campaign. Let's check this out here really quick. 1968 effort to gain economic justice for poor people in the United States. It was organized by Martin Luther King Jr. and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the SCLC, and carried out under the leadership of Ralph Abernathy in the wake of King's assassination in April of 1968. Yeah, we covered that earlier this year here. So let's add this in here. March of the Poor. Oh, yep, getting a lot of links from today's show. Excellent. What else we got here? In 1969, pilot Ken Wallace achieved record speed for autogyros, 179 kilometers per hour. That sounds pretty fast. 1970, Ernie Banks hit his 500th home run. Excellent. 72, Milwaukee Brewers defeated Minnesota Twins 4-3 in 22 innings, later to be completed on 5/13th. So tomorrow it was completed. Doing a brief scan of for comments. Nope. Nothing. Heard me. Nothing yet. 1972 as well. Paul McCartney and the Wings released single "Mary Had a Little Lamb." That sounds like plagiarism to me. 78. U.S. Commerce Department said hurricane names will no longer be only female, and it's a real shame the Lou's not here because I have a joke I wanted to say, but like, why are hurricanes named after women? Because they come in. Hard, wet, and fast, and then they take the house with them when they go. 78 in Zaire, rebels occupied the city of Kawazi, the mining center of the province of Shaba, now known as Katanga. The local government asked the U.S., France, and Belgium to restore order. So they needed a little help there in 1978. 1979, Chris Everett's 125-match winning streak on clay came to an end. All right.
Chrissy Everett, huh?
Yes, in 1979. Man, you've missed a lot.
I have.
Yeah. Like, you missed, Nini, Na Na, Nu Nu, Na Na, whatever this is. Does this sound familiar?
Oh, yeah, that's the...
Na 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 no no.
I mean, it's from 1958.
Yeah, I do remember it.
Yeah. We also have, we spoke about, I'm sorry viewers for playing this again.
You shouldn't do that. Keep going.
There we go. What I want to show this to you because it's hilarious. We were talking about like something chess or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll show this to you after the show. But then we also have the Rolling Stones released "I Can't Get No Satisfaction."
Oh yeah.
among like the amount of articles
That
that's
had to be in the 60s somewhere.
well,
65.
we covered
66.
it not too long ago, actually. Where was it? We also talked about Jimi Hendrix here.
Oh.
Good Times, Sonny and Cher,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Pink Floyd.
Well, come on.
Here we go,
You're
65.
backing up.
Yeah, you're right. So what else do we got here? 1972. I'll reread this just to catch you up. Milwaukee Brewers defeated Minnesota Twins 4-3 in 22 innings. It was completed tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, we also covered the Mary Had a Little Lamb thing. Okay, so 73, Dueling Tubas novelty single by Martin Mull hit number 92. And that just reminded me of this, one scene from Kids Next Door where it's a sousaphone, not tubas, but still. The whole dueling banjo thing.
Yeah.
It's basically like the same thing. So it's a funny scene. So anyway, 1978, U.S. Commerce Department said hurricane names will. Oh yeah, we already read this. That hurricanes' names will no longer be only female. And I just want to repeat my joke. Sorry, viewers, once again. But why are hurricanes named after females?
Why?
Because much like females, they come in like fast, wet, and wild, and then they take their house with them when they leave, or your house with them when they leave. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we got the Zaire thing. Yep. 1980, first non-stop trans-American balloon flight landed at Sainte-Félicité in Quebec. Maxie Henderson and son Christian piloted the Kitty Hawk for 5 days. So I guess it was named that. 81, New York Islanders tied their own record with 2 shorthanded playoff goals in the period versus Minnesota North Stars. 82, in Fatima, Portugal, a Spanish traditionalist priest who opposed Vatican II reformed and saw Pope John Paul II as a perpetrator of them, was stopped prior to his attempt to attack the Pope with a bayonet.
Jeez.
Wow. Regardless, I think he still got the point. So,
Way to go.
he got a handle on it. 82, the U.S. Football League formed. All right. 84, Joe Lucius scored his 13th hole-in-one on the same hole. So he's mastered that hole. So,
No kidding.
yeah. We also have South African prisoner Nelson Mandela saw his wife Winnie Mandela for the first time in 22 years.
Oh,
22 years. Yikes. 84 as well. White Horse by Laid Back hit number 27. What is that? Like just some song or something? Like who's laid back?
I don't know.
1984, World of Rivers World Exposition opened in New Orleans. I'm going to look this up here really quick. World of Rivers World Exposition. Okay, well, we have a space shuttle that has nothing to do with rivers. Okay, yeah, check this out. They have alligators and everything. So it's like a World's Fair, but revolving around rivers, I guess, because it's on a river. That makes sense. But look at that. Like the whole fairgrounds. Look at all that. That's awesome. What else do we got here? 1985, Amy Ellenberg was ordained in New York as the first woman conservative rabbi. Cool. 86, Fred Markham of the U.S., unpaced and unaided by wind, was first to pedal 65 miles per hour on a level course, Big Sand Flat, California. So he got a bicycle up to 65 miles per hour without a tailwind and without unpaced. So I guess not on a pace or something. What does it mean by unpaced? Like,
Well, yeah, pace.
Yeah.
Would be someone that's pacing you, like
Yeah.
a car or something.
Huh.
But they must gear him up where he's really high, really high gears. So once you get up there,
I guess so. And it's really weird. Both your time and my time, because Lou's time today was 1948.
oh,
And that's
okay.
2 years after you.
Yeah.
My time is 1989.
Oh, okay.
There was no 86. There was
87.
no 46, 47, or 87, 88. It's kind of wild. But yeah, AO's time, 89. Entertainment Tonight made its 2000th TV performance.
Who?
Entertainment Tonight.
Oh,
Oh, it's just some show.
yeah, E.T. or something.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I think it may still be on the air. I don't know.
You know what? That's what E.T. Because I used to see that on TV all the time, not watch it, but I used to just like E.T. the movie, but it's only like an hour long or something. How did they get the whole movie in 1 hour timestamp or whatever? It's something they should just call it Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
Because I always confused it with the E.T. the extraterrestrial. They lost me as a viewer because of that. Potentially.
Well, it was it's what's going on in the entertainment world. I think it was around before E.T. if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. Well, I mean, this is maybe. Yeah.
Well, I forget when E.T. was around the movie.
Well, I think it was '84 when E.T. got released. But
I think this was around before.
When was E.T. movie released?
I know you want the other one, not E.T.
'82.
Okay, so when was E.T. Entertainment?
Was
Entertainment Tonight?
Was Entertainment Tonight started? Entertainment Tonight. Yada yada yada. In '81.
Just barely before.
September 14th, '81. Wow. So, not by much, but still beforehand. Anyway, we also have the last graffiti-covered New York City subway car retired. So, at the end of an era. We don't need all that, all that freaking gangster piss all over the walls and everything.
Well, I think they put that on there so they don't get graffiti.
Ah. That should tell you, how bad your society is when you have to pre-trash up your city, And as well, retired British pilot Jack Mann was kidnapped by Islamic fundamentalists. That's not good. We also have the San Bernardino train disaster killed 4 people, only to be followed a week later by an underground gasoline pipeline explosion, which killed 2 more people. And that's out here, San Bernardino. So, 90, the Comic Relief USA 90, the 4th one raised $4.7 million. Excellent. We also have Nora Dune and Sinead O'Connor boycotted Saturday Night Live to protest Andrew Dice Clay's hosting, which was perceived as sexist. The show used a time delay for the 3rd time in history. All right, all of this madness. So, 91, a new cancer drug was announced, which could only be found in the bark of a rare tree in the Pacific Northwest. Huh, that's weird. 1992, the first Belgian woman, name was Ingrid Bayens, to ascend Mount Everest. Excellent.
Ooh.
First Belgian woman to ascend there. 93, the final episode of 6-year run of ABC's Wonder Years in Netherlands. So specifically in the Netherlands, that's when they ended.
I remember that from some sitcom. So they must have had a Netherlands version of it.
Well, you want to know why you remember it?
I wonder.
Because you're in your Wonder Years. That's why. You just have old timers disease. You forgot you were in it.
Actually, I'm wondering about you as we get right down to it.
Everybody is. 94, Pulp Fiction, directed by Quentin Tarantino and starring John Travolta, Uma Thurman, and Samuel L. Jackson, premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, later to receive the Palme d'Or in 1994. Yeah.
Great movie. Really
What
good.
does Marsalis Wallace look like? Does he look like a bitch? Say what again? I dare you, motherfucker. 95, Dow Jones Industrial Average set a new record for 5th straight day of the week at 4,430.59. We also have Jose Mesa got first of his ML record, 37 consecutive saves. I guess some kind of baseball or something?
Yeah.
ML.
Yeah. Major League.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. 95 as well, Martin Brodeur tied NHL record, getting his 3rd playoff shutout in 4. That sounds impressive. 96, Yankees losing to 8-0 to the Chicago White Sox, came back to win 9-8. So wow, they were down by 8 and then they were up by 1.
Yeah,
that's wild. 97, 14th North Koreans defected to South Korea. Excellent.
It's not an easy thing to do.
No, and today it's pretty much impossible.
Oh, they're pretty well locked in. Yeah.
Yeah. 97 as well, Australian Susie Maroney became the first to swim from Cuba to Florida. Well, I guess like to actually swim and not just float on some door or something. 97, Russia and Chechnya signed a peace deal after 400 years of conflict. That took a while. A tornado.
400 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
A tornado nearly missed downtown Miami, I guess in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They don't usually get tornadoes down there.
There's also Miami of Ohio, I believe.
Oh. Okay, so maybe it might have been Miami, Ohio? I mean, let's see here.
I think I'm right with that.
No, it's Florida.
Okay.
So, well, I think that you're right,
Yeah.
but this article is about this
Yeah.
one here. So,
Yeah.
but I do believe you. 99, David Steele became the first presiding officer, the Speaker of the modern Scottish Parliament. Excellent. The year 2000, Ringo Starr's 6 all-star band debuted in concert. Members included Todd Rundgren, Jack Bruce, Gary Brooker, Simon Kirk, and Timmy Capello. Any of those names sound familiar?
No.
All right. So then I will remove that from reading. 2000 as well, Tate Modern Art Gallery opened in the redesigned Bankside Power Station by Herzog and de Meuron in London. Now the world's most visited contemporary art museum. And here it is right there.
Look at that. Looks
Looks,
like it's giving you the finger.
Yeah, it actually kind of does. It really does. You know, like you have the fingers. What the hell? Wow. I wonder if they had that intentional.
That's the first flash in my mind.
I didn't even think about that. So, 2002, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer, arrived in Cuba for a 5-day visit with Fidel Castro, the actual father of Justin Trudeau, becoming the first president of the United States in or out of office to visit the island since Castro's '59 revolution.
Wonder
That's
if they
big.
had cigars.
They must have. Yeah.
No, I don't think Carter would have smoked a cigar. Heaven forbid.
Oh, maybe not. But Castro certainly would have.
Oh, yeah.
2003, 59 Democratic lawmakers brought the Texas legislature to a standstill by going into hiding in a dispute over a Republican congressional redistricting plan. Blah, 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 blah. Wow, typical leftists. You know? Like, they should, you know, if that's the way you're going to behave, then you should be automatically expelled, you know, from that position and never allowed to run again. You know? Like, you're there to be a representative, not to be a bitch. So, 2006, a major rebellion occurred in Sao Paulo as members of criminal organization Primeiro Comando da Capital attacked police officers and stations, eventually escalating to several prisoners in Brazil several prisons in Brazil, leaving around 130 people dead. Other source says at least 150 dead. So, like, mass unrest by the Primeiro Comando da Capital began in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So, but it as I said, in prisons. That's wild. I've never heard of anything like that. No. 2006 as well, Iranian Azirs intercepted a cartoon published in an Iranian magazine as insulting, or interpreted it as insulting, resulting in massive riots throughout the country. Well, if you don't like it, just don't buy it. Simple.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if you go out and riot, you're no better than a 2-year-old not getting its way. You know, grow up. 2007, riots in Karachi, Pakistan were started by the arrival of Karachi's airport of independently minded Chief Justice. Okay, this is weird. Started by the arrival at Karachi's airport. So basically, the independently minded Chief Justice Iftikhar Muhammad Chantli arrived at this airport, and these riots resulted in 48 deaths. That was a weird way to write that.
Yeah.
What the hell? 2008, the Wishinan earthquake measuring 7.8 to around 8.0 in magnitude occurred in Sichuan, China, killing between 69,000 and 87,000 and up people, with an additional 374,643 injured, and leaving between 4.8 and 11 million homeless. Holy crap. That's ridiculous. Yeah, the Wenchuan earthquake right here.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, neither have I. We also have U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement conducted the largest ever raid of a workplace in Postville, Iowa, arresting nearly 400 immigrants for identity theft and document fraud. Yeah, we need more of that today. You know, more deporting. You know, get all this filth out of our country. 2010, an Africa Airway flight crashed and killed everyone but one person on board. So, on their final approach to Tripoli International Airport in Tripoli, Libya, Flight 771 killed 103 out of 104. That's terrible.
Someone survived that. Everybody dies and someone survived.
How does a flight attendant survive being thrown from an aircraft?
200 yards or
300. I think it was 300 or something crazy.
Something crazy.
And that's after the front was liquidated, essentially.
Yeah.
Like 2012, the discovery of a missing Mayan calendar piece disproved 2012 Armageddon. I remember hearing about that. When just in the nick of time, am I right? What a coincidence. 2013, Pope Francis canonized the 813 martyrs of Orantino as saints. Excellent. 1 year later, voters in eastern Ukraine voted for self-rule in a referendum. Awesome. 2015, we had massive Nepal earthquake, killed 218 people and injured more than 3,500. I'd like to know, what was the magnitude, any damage, what was the cost, how many displaced, homeless, So,
That's pipsqueak compared to the China one we
yeah,
just read.
yeah. 2017, Brazil declared end of Zika national emergency as cases decreased. Now, a lot of people don't remember the Zika virus, but remember, like many years ago, 2017, and before that, but a lot of newborns in Central and South America, they were getting born with grossly shrunken heads. Remember all that?
I don't remember specifics, but I sure remember the Zika virus.
Yeah.
As far as newsworthy, but I don't remember what you're talking about. No.
Well,
So it was about deformity, huh?
well, basically, like, skip ahead a bit, maybe, but Zika virus. I'm going to show you what the infants look like. Zika virus. Well, here's a good representation right here. This is a normal infant head.
Yeah.
And right here it's showing you typical head size. So with the
I see.
this is normal, and then severe microphalgy.
Yeah.
It's basically Zika and everything.
Yeah.
And it was happening in Central and South America and everything, and they linked it directly to a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation research laboratory that's down there, and Bill Gates is an very outspoken advocate of population control. And this was causing stillbirths, and the infants, obviously with their shrunken heads, they didn't live. So put two and two together. What's going on? Bill Gates is killing Mexicans. So essentially, and Brazilians and all that stuff. So look into it, people. If you don't believe me, that's fine. Don't believe what I say. Use what I say as a stepping stone towards your own personal self-education, if anything. But just it's horrifying when you start figuring out these truths. Anyway, 2017 as well, the WannaCry ransomware attack impacted over 400,000 computers worldwide, targeting computers of the United Kingdom's National Health Services and Telefonica computers. Wow, what a name, WannaCry ransomware. Oh, you want to cry? I hope they found whoever made this and strung him up by his tongue. 2018, we have a Paris knife attack. A man was fatally shot by police in Paris after killing one and injuring several others. Well, you ban guns, they're going to use knives. You ban knives, they're going to use sticks. You ban sticks, you're going to use... What are you going to do, ban everything?
Yeah.
A human is going to figure out how to use their own breath to kill somebody if they have to. What are you going to do then? Ban breathing? Stupid. 2019 as well, Cuba announced more rationing of products such as rice and beans due to U.S. trade embargo and hoarding. Well, maybe you stop being such communist fuckwits and we won't do that. How about that for a concept? 2019, a gunman killed 5 people and a priest in the Catholic Church in Dablo, Burkina Faso, before setting fire to and looting nearby buildings. Why was the response so slow? How was he able to kill all those people and then go out and set fire and loot buildings?
Yeah.
Well, this says gunman, not gunmen.
Yeah.
So this is one guy. Oh, I know why. Because it's a church. That's why. It wasn't a synagogue or a mosque, so that's why nobody cares. Oh. 2020, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a $260 million economic rescue package worth 10% of their gross domestic product, GDP.
Who are they rescuing?
India.
Oh.
Yeah, themselves, I guess. Or, I don't know. 2020 as well, militants stormed a hospital and a funeral in Kabul, Afghanistan, shooting an estimated 40 people dead, including new mothers and their babies. Whoa.
Jeez.
Oh, man. That is terrible. Wow. We also have, yikes. Yeah, right here. So, Russia's confirmed cases of Kung Flu reached 232,000, the second highest in the world, a day after President Vladimir Putin eased the country's lockdown. What a great way to get it right back on. He's playing his part, the dancing stooge. 2020 as well, U.S. Coronavirus Task Force testified to the Senate that the U.S., quote, is not out of the woods yet, end quote. Yeah, more fear-mongering. That the pandemic is not under control and risks surge in cases if it reopens too soon. Oh, it definitely is under control. And that's how they know, how things will work. Wuhan, epicenter of the Kung Flu outbreak, drew up plans to test all 11 million residents after it recorded a new cluster of 6 cases. 1 year later, the U.S. Republicans voted to demote their number 3 Liz Cheney from party leadership after she publicly rebuked Donald Trump for lies about the election. 2022, first images published of the supermassive black hole Sagittarius A star that lies at the heart of the Milky Way galaxy, captured by the Event Horizon Telescope collaboration. I gotta check that out here. Oh, and that's the earthquake.
Oh,
that was the China
that's
earthquake
the China
right
one.
there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So perceived shaking, severe is red, and orange very strong, and a strong moderate. That's weird.
The
Look at
number was really high.
Look at the epicenter. It's right here. But why does the shaking go this way?
That's that's
The topography, I guess.
no, that's the fault line. It's going to run along the fault line.
Huh. But you'd think that there'd be more like this way then.
Well, you got some that the yellow is still severe, whatever it is.
No, it's moderate.
Moderate, whatever
No.
it is. It got some, but it hit the.
But
for
the
whatever
epicenter
reason,
is not in the center of the shaking. You think the epicenter would be the center of the shaking, right?
No, it sends it out on the fault line. That's why
okay.
it's all going that way.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. Okay. I'm just an idiot.
No,
yeah.
you're not. It's unusual that it's at that very edge of the fault line, but
So I guess this is talking about the donut. This is a different donut. So this is the Sagittarius A star. That's the black hole at the center of our galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Our galaxy. So this is the center of our galaxy.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every galaxy has a black hole.
Well, I think as we just duplicate the universe.
Oh yeah.
Our galaxy will someday die.
Oh yes. Well, hold on a second. Universe and eyeball. I want to show something here. Images. Hold on a second. Here's eyeball comparison. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, like a lot of people, like you may be onto something because you have eyeballs, and then here we have different stellar masses. They look very much the same, but actually, hold on. Brain, cell, and universe. Check this out. On the left, you have a brain cell. On the right, you have what we believe is a universe.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
As is small, or so as above, so below. As is small, so is big. Wild stuff. Oh, here, this is the picture specifically that I was trying to find. This one here. Left is the brain cell, the right is the universe.
Okay.
Left is the birth of a cell, the right is the death of a star. Look how similar they are. And then you have an eye and then a nebula.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What else do we got here? 2022, North Korea ordered a national lockdown after confirming its first Kung Flu cases with the Omicron variant. International experts doubt that these were the first, expressing concern for its unvaccinated 25 million population. Don't worry, they're killing them all. We also have 2022, very early Californian wildfire called a dangerous new normal. I remember this. By local fire chief after 24 houses were destroyed and 900 homes evacuated in Laguna Niguel, Orange County. Yeah, that was just in our backyard, essentially. Then we have 2023 U.S. Pandemic Era Expulsion Policy Title 42, which expelled most migrants, expired. Let's unexpire it. Let's get the rest of these, illegals out of here. 2024, flash flood killed at least 300 people in northern Afghanistan and destroyed nearly 2,000 homes. That's terrible. And we also have the middle and end of the May 2024 solar storms, the most powerful set of geomagnetic storms since the 2023 Halloween solar storms. We've been covering these for the past couple of days. We have the rock band Foo Fighters fired their drummer Josh Freese after 2 years with the group. And last but not least, U.S. and China agreed to a 90-day trade deal in which tariffs on most Chinese imports will drop from 145% to 30%, and tariffs on U.S. imports will drop from 125% to 10%. I don't think China dropped their tariffs, though, did they? I really don't think that they would. Did they?
Well, it was like a trade war, so I think they put theirs up, and then they brought it back. I don't know where they all stand today, but
No
they
idea.
didn't get down to zero. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't be at zero. You know, countries need to tariff each other. They need to tax
Listen,
each other.
there's nothing wrong with tariffs.
No, there's
but
not.
They just have to be fair to each other. to
Yes.
each
No, see,
party.
like, if we have more tariffs, the people will get taxed less. Well, you know, that's what I hope would happen. You know?
Well, you know, as we've said before, until somewhere in the 20s, we had no income tax. It was all from tariffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was what?
Federal tax.
Well, in 1913, Woodrow Wilson, that piece of shit, signed in a law, you know, that brought in the Federal Reserve and the IRS.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, that's somewhere where they started
Yeah.
taxing them.
Anyway, we're here on our hour on the dots,
How about
and I'm going to do the long outro. That'll conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you a portion. Please check our sources for more. You know, so we got through this entire 34-page document today in, you know, just over an hour, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, all these links will be in the underbar section after this live stream, which we're wrapping up. It's up to you to find the artifacts of our history, but only if each individual reaches out with and for open mindfulness, with a yearn to learn, to see outside what you think you know, to grow and find enlightenment. We have to find common ground with those who see their opinions differently from our own and find a better way to be better to one another. For your dose of Fast Events Daily, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I'm Mayo Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you, viewer, you, thank you once again so much for coming in. Until you catch us next time, wherever that is, don't forget to look right, left, at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until later, toodles! Doing a quick scan for comments, no comments, so